everybody. Welcome to the Hallmarkies podcast. And we're really excited today. We are talking underrated Hallmark movies. One of the best topics you can talk about because we love Hallmark makes so many movies that some of them are going to fall through the cracks, some of them undeservedly so. And this is a chance to talk about it. It's going to be real fun. And I'm film critic Rachel Wagner, and Terry's here.
Hi.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going,
It's going. Yeah. So this is exciting because this is our second patron selected episode that we're doing that the patrons each month for our patrons we'll put up a poll and you get to vote, and we already did the Rotten Tomatoes best rom-coms ranking, and we already posted that episode. So that was the first poll. And now this was our second poll, and they selected underrated Hallmark movies, which is kind of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really had to think about this one.
Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, there's what exactly is underrated, because it's easier when you're doing underrated for feature films. It's kind of a little bit easier because you have Rotten Tomatoes, you have Metacritic,
Yes.
you have, more critics weighing in. So to say, oh, it's underrated is a little bit easier, but it's just kind of like,
It's tough.
is
And I
there
have,
talk about these
yeah.
movies in the fandom? Do people seem to like them? It's a little harder to gauge.
And I am so terrible at judging if something's underrated or not.
Yeah.
It is not a skill that I possess.
So this is just what we think, like, don't get talked about that much. And we have a bonus episode of the podcast for the patrons where we're going to give our next two in our ranking. So if you want to hear more of our picks, then make sure you sign up for the Patreon. You can be part of the polls, and you can even be part of the polls if you're a free member. So definitely, if you listen to the podcast, check out the Patreon. We've got a link in the description. We have watch-alongs and Q&As from talent. We're going to have Ryan Landau's in May, where we're going to watch Sugar Plumbed with him, get all the behind the scenes. So that's going to be super fun. And so, yeah, I really, really, really try hard to make it worth your investment to join the Patreon. So please check that out. And let's dive in. Let's talk about it. We have our top 12 here. And like I said, we have two more on the bonus. But yeah, let's dive in. Terry, where's your number 12?
Well, I had to pick a royal movie, so I picked Royally Ever After. The year that Hallmark had so many royal movies in 2018
Yes.
with I believe it was Fiona
I think there were
Google.
7 royal
Yeah,
movies that
yeah,
year.
that year, yeah.
Yeah.
It's Fiona Goobleman, right? I think I'm pronouncing it
Yes.
right.
And
And
this
Tor
was not only was it that year, but this was literally that weekend
Oh, it was the weekend, yes.
of the royal wedding.
Yeah, and I love this one, but I don't hear this one. Of the only of the Hallmark
Yeah,
royal movies, I think this one gets left behind in the conversation.
I
But
agree.
I found it fun. It's very simple.
Yeah.
What's hysterical is that these people are from Jersey, and her parents sound like they're from New York.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, that is not a Jersey girl. Maybe she could pass, but her parents, I was like, where did they come from? No, they're not from
Yeah.
Jersey.
I mean, her
But
parents do lay on the accents and stuff real
oh,
thick.
yeah, but it's not. I was like,
Fiona
what
doesn't really
accent is
try.
this? I was like, what accent is this? But
Well,
anyway,
one of the unique things about that movie is that they're a couple from the start.
exactly, which is what I loved. And when he confesses to her that he's just not a struggling writer, she's like needs a moment to process, but she's okay with it. It's like she finding out that he's royal isn't that huge of a block, like
Yeah.
a stumble for them. It's once she gets to their home, which was shot in Ireland, so everything looks beautiful, and
Yeah.
dealing with his parents and his sister and their family, that is when the trouble starts. And that's what I
Yeah.
really enjoyed about it. Because they were like strong. That wasn't what broke them up. They were like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, we'll try this out
Yeah.
which is
Yeah. And she's
ridiculous
not
because
like good
this,
enough for his parents, his mom, I
yeah.
think.
I mean, you have to erase, you have to erase that uh, she could never figure out that he was a prince, even from a small country you that never existed. Because even with every day we come across, oh, I didn't know that existed. Like there are places. Listen, we're not going to all be up to date on every single country, right? And there are so many in the world. But even their princes, like we know, they get
Yeah.
publicized, especially because he was going to be king. He's not like a minor royal where he could get away with that, you know? Like,
Yeah.
I'm the seventh prince. I can get away with that. But
Right.
you forget that stuff. This is a true kind of nice
Yeah.
modern day fairy tale of it. And
Yeah, like with the what's it called? The one with the one that we just had where she is the sister and then ends
oh
up
yeah,
and she ends up going in the range Royal
right.
We. I really enjoyed that film, but it was kind of like
Totally.
there's no way you could be this
Oh, I know
anonymous.
she
Like
couldn't be that invisible. I know because she was the spare. There was no
like
way
we
she could be that
nobody
invisible.
nobody
But
knows. But
you gotta like throw some stuff away, and just enjoy
yeah.
the ride. And I think this is one of their better royal movies. Um,
Yeah.
I can't even remember all the ones that came out in 2018. So many, so
There
many.
were so many that year, and that's
And I
just
loved every
Hallmark.
moment of
There
it.
were there were a
There were
bunch on
four, I think, on
Netflix.
Hallmark.
There were a bunch on the other networks. It was intense.
And we need more. I know we just got three from Hallmark, but I would like more. What are the other
Meanwhile, the audience
channels?
is screaming, "No!" At least
Hey, they did
I
bangers. They did banger numbers on
yeah,
Hallmark, so I fully expect
yeah.
some this Christmas.
I've enjoyed a lot of the royal movies. I think
I do too.
because
They're
I love
guilty.
Cinderella. I love Cinderella
Yeah,
movies, and so when they can capture that, then I do really enjoy them a lot of the times. But it
yeah.
was 2018. It did get a
Peak.
bit much
Yeah, it was a much.
even for me.
I
But
was gonna say they're a guilty pleasure, but I feel no guilt in it, so it's
no,
not
no.
really.
Yeah. Well, so I did forget to say that we did a previous episode in 2020, way back, that of underrated Hallmark movies. We did an overrated and we did an underrated episodes, which were really fun. So none of the movies that were mentioned in that episode, I'll put a link down to it in the description. None of those movies are included in our ranking because we just wanted to make it unique. So
And I
there's
think we didn't double dip in this one. I tried really hard not to make sure that we had different movies to talk about because there's so many.
yeah, so you and I have different lists
Yeah,
and then we didn't include any from that 2020
yeah.
episode. So yeah, I mean that's just how like this it's so crazy like
It's
how
countless.
long
One day I'm just going to
the
count up the Hallmark movies. Oh, I can't. Because then I'd have to go back to the Hallmark Hall of Fame. That might take me years.
yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think by the end of the year, I think we will be at 3,000 episodes of Hallmarkies podcast,
Oh,
which
wow.
is pretty crazy. We're at like 2,800 now.
And you don't even do
Um,
weekly, Rachel. Like you wait till the month is over to talk about them. Imagine
it's
if you
true.
did weekly.
Yeah, it's true. So that just happens when I mean, we do post at least almost
Yeah.
always we post 3 episodes a week, more at Christmas. And we've been going since 2017, so it just adds up.
It would be a really fun, and maybe I'll do it, on summer vacation because I got
Yeah.
nothing else to do. But it would be funny to see how because there's got to be more Christmas films than non-Christmas in the Hallmark catalog now. Just because over these last
Oh
years
yeah.
they're making like a bunch. I was like, it has to outshine the
If you
non-Christmas movies.
would you include the mysteries in
I
that
would. I would include the
equation?
mysteries and I would include the miniseries. They no longer do miniseries, but I feel like that.
Oh,
I don't know if that would be its
because
own
last year,
category.
so last year I think there were about 90 something films from Hallmark and
It was
like 42.
101, I think.
I was thinking it was 90 something, but
I
anyway,
actually could
and
look that up real quick.
and
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
but 42 of those. So there were slightly more Hallmark movies. And it does get a little messy now because you've got Hallmark Plus, you've got, like it's a little messy, but yeah, that would
Yeah.
be an interesting
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it would be,
to
just to look at like that. Actually, I just looked it up because I have it written down because I'm a maniac. It was 107
oh my
with
gosh.
Hallmark Mystery, and Hallmark Plus. It's a total of
Wow.
107.
107. Wow. Well, my number 12 is, normally I'm not a big fan of wedding movies, but this one, it really won me
Wow.
over. It's A Very Merry Bridesmaid.
Oh, this
And
was delightful.
this
Yeah,
is one of those
agree.
Christmas movies that just gets kind of lost in the shuffle because there's so many. But I love Emily Osment. I think she is such a good fit for these
Yeah.
movies. I guess she's doing the Young Sheldon spinoff or whatever right now. So
Yeah,
that
because she was
probably
on
is,
both those shows. Yeah.
yeah, so it's probably taking all of her time. But she's such a perfect fit for Hallmark, I think. And I really liked this movie and how it focused kind of on her loneliness
Totally.
and her and there was like a real sense of friendship between her and this guy.
Who was
Uh
so hot. Can we please have him back?
yes,
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 he
and
was
I
so hot in that
so
movie.
hot. And I
Nice eye
really
candy.
liked just the moment when they recognized her at the wedding. It was just
Oh
like
yeah, that was
really
so sweet.
sweet
Yeah,
and
because her birthday, everything was
because
on
it
the
was her
same day,
birthday.
so and plus also I also liked how she was struggling to decide what to do, to like follow a dream or to stay in this
Yeah.
job, because she was turning 30, I believe. But I like how that wasn't like no one was upset with her. No one was making her do
No.
anything she didn't want to do. And that's refreshing, for one
Yeah.
of these
And
plots like that.
yeah, and that 30th birthday can be rough, but I I remember it being a pretty tough day for me.
Oh,
And so I don't know, I just felt like this character in a lesser writer, you can tell this was Tracy Ann Dreen because this character could have been really annoying and like a diva, but she wasn't, and you connected with her, and this was really a movie about the people, and I cared about the people.
yeah, totally.
Yeah.
But you should have done what I did, Rachel. For the entire year that I was 29, I just told people I was 30. So it didn't
To
affect me at
prepare
all.
you.
And I'll tell you one thing, I did nothing on my 30th birthday. I had to call, my sister had just had a baby, right?
Uh-huh.
And my mother had died like a couple of years back. So it was just us. And I had to call my sister. I was like, hey, what you doing? And she's like, oh, I'm fine. This baby, I'm doing this. And she goes, oh, by the way, happy birthday. I was like, no problem. And then she brought me over like in the middle of the night so we could have cake and cannolis.
Oh,
So, I mean, it
I
was still
don't,
sweet, but
yeah. I don't
I'll tell you, I'm
remember,
not rocked by these age,
I
these,
don't remember what, I don't remember what we did for 30th birthday. I'm sure it was something. I do remember crying on the phone to my sister though, and being
oh,
like, because at the time I felt like I had accomplished nothing.
oh yeah.
I
Oh, well,
look
I
back
knew
at
I
my
accomplished
20s
nothing at
and
her.
I like my 40th birthday was way easier than my 30th birthday. And some
I
people
think
might
so,
be
yeah.
surprised by that. But by
Yeah.
my 40th birthday, I had accomplished way more. I just felt like I had something to show for my life. I had the podcast, I had a home, I had, just like some things that to put my hat on, and I become a film
Yeah.
critic at that point. I mean, it was a little bit of a bummer because my it was 2021, so it was
Yeah.
the pandemic. We couldn't really do anything, have a party. My family did we did a Zoom murder mystery
No.
thing,
Oh, that's nice. That
and
sounds like
it was
fun.
quite fun, yeah.
Yeah, it's
But
yeah.
uh
Don't stress your age, people. Like I had accomplished zero at 30. I was better
yeah,
off now, but like, but I was chill with it.
yeah, I think
I think
a lot of times those late 20s are challenging time because for most people in most careers, that's when you're
yeah.
paying your dues.
Exactly. And you're
You're
supposed
paying,
to, yeah. And they tell you, and I think in this movie it really touches on that. Like
yeah.
people just
Like
automatically assume that you should have everything in order at that time. And the
like
truth
even
is,
if you're a
sometimes you don't.
mom, like you're
Yeah.
still that's usually the time when you're paying your dues, like the really
Exactly,
intense. It's
Or you're
just like,
supposed to be,
and I
yeah.
think that a lot of us were sort of fed this idea that like
Mm-hmm.
you're supposed to kind of have everything
Yeah,
figured
everything's
out by your
together.
30.
Like
But
like everything
I
should be done by like 27. You
yeah.
should have everything in order. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, I was
Yeah.
living with my mother at
Yeah.
27.
I know
Well,
my late 20, that was definitely like the hardest time of my life as far as emotionally, mentally. It
yeah,
was
it's
when I was,
hard. Well, you were on your own too, right? You had your own
yeah.
place and
And
stuff.
I was very unhappy with my work and I was finishing up graduate school,
Yeah.
just all those things. And so I know. I just feel like to go back
Yeah.
to the movie, I just feel like they captured that about as well as you could in a little movie like this. And it just had a very nice family dynamic to it.
Yeah.
And they felt like real, genuine friends,
Yes.
the two of them. And
And like
it's,
a real family. They didn't fight over
yeah,
dumb stuff or whatever. Like
yeah,
he was so cool about the wedding being on her birthday and Christmas and all
yes,
that stuff. She was just so, I want to make you guys happy. And then she didn't expect that shout out, which is lovely. It's like,
yeah.
no, we remembered and
Yeah,
we
she wasn't like a
remember.
diva. And this
No, she
character
wasn't.
could
And it
have,
was so sweet because, like, hey, we remember you and we appreciate
yeah,
everything that you're
this
doing.
character
So,
could have been a diva very easily
oh,
with, you
totally.
know, and this would be a good if Lisa and I were still doing the friendship podcast, this would be a good one, for that one, I
Oh,
think.
totally. Because there's so
You
many.
know,
She has her friend who works with her at the store. She has
yeah.
her hot neighbor. Bring him back, guys. He was so hot. But anyway, so there's
Yes.
eye candy here. So, guys, check this out if you haven't seen it. Not
Yeah,
just for the eye candy. It's a lovely movie, but the eye candy
it
helps.
is. And I just feel like it's one of those ones that you never really are talked about
Yeah,
that kind of
because
fell through the cracks.
Rachel, if I'm remembering correctly, it did end at the end of the Christmas season, right?
Yeah,
Or
towards
in
the
December.
end. It was
Yeah.
definitely December for sure.
Those are the ones that kind of get lost in the shuffle.
Yeah. And a lot of times they're some of the best ones.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Ho, ho, ho! We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies Patreon.
Do you love Hallmarkies podcast, especially at Christmas?
Do you enjoy the holiday previews, recaps, interviews, and bonus episodes?
If the answer is yes, please consider supporting the Hallmarkies Patreon. We need your help to do what we do both during the Christmas season and all year round.
But not only do you help a podcast led by strong, independent women by becoming a Patreon, you get to become a part of the Hallmarkies family.
Starting at only $2 a month as a patron, you will have access to our Facebook Patreon group where we talk about the movies, shows, and more all year.
We also have many monthly patron watch-alongs with guests like Lacey Chabert, Natalie Hall, Paul Campbell, Mary Lou Henner, and more, giving their behind-the-scenes details of their films.
As a patron, you also have the chance to provide input into the podcast and even join us at different tiers.
So this Christmas season, spread some cheer to the Hallmarkies Patreon and become a member today. You won't regret it.
Go to patreon.com/Hallmarkies to learn more.
That's patreon.com/Hallmarkies.
Well, what do you have at 11?
I have from 2020 Love in Store.
Oh, yeah, I like that
Was this
one.
Robert Buckley's first Hallmark movie or no? I can't remember.
I can't
I'm gonna
remember
say no.
when Christmas House was. And
I think it was after this, but I'm not sure. But I just find it was so funny because we don't get to see these type of professions on a Hallmark. These guys are working essentially for the Home Shopping Network, right?
yeah,
And they're vying for this, precious slot because of Jackie Harry, who's great in this movie. She is retiring,
I
and
forgot she was in that.
yeah, she has a small role, but she's retiring, and they are forced to work together because they're like, your chemistry is off the hook, and they're trying to sell vacuums and all this stuff, and it's kind of like they're competing. They hate each other, then they like each other, and then they fall in love, and it is just adorable, and it's unusual for Hallmark because here they're working at the
Yeah.
Home Shopping Network. We don't see that, and
Yeah.
I
I
really enjoy it.
really enjoyed that one too. I thought it was super charming. The banter was really fun.
And it never repeats on Hallmark either. At least
Yeah. I mean, that was Joie
that I know.
Bodkin. When she's on, she's really good writer.
Yeah.
So that helped a lot. So it was his first Hallmark movie.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes, he had done the Christmas contract for Lifetime.
Oh, that's
And
right.
so we had that, and of course, Flirty with 40, which I love.
Oh, yeah. Oh, gosh, I forgot about that.
Yes. But he did Love in Store, and then the Christmas House was that same year. Those are both 2020.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
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 So
Yeah.
yeah, I agree. That's a good pick. I like that one a lot. My number 11 is Where I Have Date with Love. And I feel like this is a little bit of a sad upon Andrew Walker movie. Definitely
Oh,
one of my favorites with his. I really enjoy the whole dynamic of
Yeah.
the promposal, and it's real cute. And Sinead Grimes Beach playing this movie star. She gets the promposal. She's coming over.
I think that's a great thing that she just because she's an actress in this movie, right? If I'm remembering it
Yes, so
correctly.
she plays the
Yeah.
like movie star that gets the promposal from Bailey Madison's friend, who she's of course in love with.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
I think that's what makes this one fun is that you get two romances. You get the teen romance. You get
right.
the. In fact, I even did this over on my channel. I have Teen Movie Month, and I did this for Teen Movie Month
Oh
as
yeah,
a
this is a great,
selection
yeah.
because they're quite. I really like Bailey in this. She's very
Oh, wouldn't it be
good.
wonderful on a side note to get Bailey back like
Yeah,
in a full-blown rom-com as an adult now in a
I
Hallmark?
feel like there's major potential in that, and
Totally.
that I mean, what is she doing? I'm sure something,
I
but
think she was
like,
in the Pretty Little Liars remake, but I don't know if
yeah,
that's
but
still
like nothing
ongoing.
that would like
Oh yeah, she could do it
make
on
her
a day
out
off.
of, there's
They
nothing
filmed this
that's,
movie in a week.
yeah, I feel like there's nothing that has catapulted her out of Hallmark's realm.
Totally. Totally.
And I mean, I think I've heard that things didn't end that well with Good Witch, but
Mm.
I still feel like even if it wasn't necessarily Hallmark, I feel like if Netflix or Lifetime or whatever
Oh yeah,
was
totally.
smart, them doing a movie with Bailey I think would really be good. She was in one of the Cinderella movies, the Cinderella story. She was in the
Yes,
last one of
I know it
those.
exists. I've never seen it.
It's not that great, but
Oh,
it's
well,
more of a 12th night than it is Cinderella. It's
why would
really
they?
only name
Okay.
only Cinderella, but still she's really good. But I really like this little romance that she has here. It's
Yeah.
fun.
And this is
And
the best Andrew Walker's hair has ever looked
yeah, it's pretty
in
good.
any of his movies. That might be superficial, but
Yeah. And
his
you know,
hair, it's like it really looks good. And
I really love Andrew as a person, but his filmography is often not my favorite. And so I feel like this is one of his best, and I just
yeah,
feel like it's kind of slept on that.
one of his earlier ones
Yeah,
too,
people
right?
don't
Yeah.
really talk about this one. And it's directed by
No.
Ron Oliver. It's charming.
Oh, Rachel, like because sometimes I forget to look at who the directors are, and there were so many Ron Oliver movies that I was considering and picking. It was
Yeah.
he's got
He is good. He's really
yeah.
good. So what do you have here? We're 10, right?
Yeah, we're at 10. So I went
We give
back
it 10.
to an older one from 2013, The Sweeter Side of Life, which was
Okay. Yeah.
directed by Michael Damian. Young and the Restless's
Ah, yes.
Danny Romalotti. Rock on. I'll
Yeah.
forever, But it was also written by himself and his wife, or his wife and his wife.
Nice. Him and Janine.
And I think it stars a lot of people. It's Catherine Morris, Alistair McKenzie. And basically,
It's
she's a rich.
cupcakes, right?
It's cupcakes, yeah, but she's basically a rich wife living in New York, right? And she gets dumped by her husband, who is a plastic surgeon. And I can't remember the guy who played the husband, but I think he was on House.
Is this Nicolette Sheridan?
No, this is Catherine Morris. She used to do the
Oh,
she used to do a CBS procedural back in the day.
okay.
I think it was one about cold cases.
Blonde hair, right?
Blonde hair, yeah.
Okay.
But I don't think she's ever done a Hallmark movie again. But but basically she gets dumped and she's like, "Oh, I have no money. My plastic surgery husband left me for like, a barista or something like that." And she's so depressed that she's got to go back to her, small hometown in New Jersey, but I was like, that is not a small, I mean, it's a small town, but it's like, come on, it's not like in the middle of nowhere. And she's forced to work at her father's, bakery. And the lesson is, hey, small town living, which it ain't really a small town in real life, but baking and meeting a hot guy is better than living in the big city. So, but it's adorable, it's cute. And I think this might have been Michael Damian's first directed movie. No, this would be his second. This would be after A Princess for Christmas that he did for Hallmark. And he's
Okay.
got a lot
Yeah.
of like
Yeah, he's
hidden
great.
gems out there with his directorial stuff. And
Yeah.
I don't know, there's something like cute about this, and it's very like it's
Yeah.
early 2000s, but it's definitely in that period too where a lot of movies were coming out of these rich ladies getting dumped and not knowing what to do with their lives because they don't have any more money. which
Yeah.
is probably a real concern. But that's like when the Starter Wife came out and stuff like
Mm.
that. Not First Wives Club, but like essentially like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Good pick. Good pick. My number 10 is a bit of a cheat because really for me, pretty much all the Love Comes Softly sequels, I think are a little underappreciated. I got the box set
Oh, me
one year
too.
for Christmas,
Yep.
and I loved all of them.
I do. I
I
love
really
all
did.
of
I
them.
mean, my least favorite was probably the one that's like the death one.
Oh,
You know,
Rachel, so
where
many people die in this movie. You have to be more specific.
the one
Also,
where
with the baby dying, the
the
fourth
baby
movie,
dying, it's just like
Love's
very
Abiding
heavy.
Joy.
That one
Yeah.
is very, very heavy. It's
Yes,
still
yes, it
good,
is.
I think.
So good.
But
That's the only one who was that they released in cinemas.
oh, really? I didn't
Yeah,
realize
they
they
did
did
for a
that.
limited time. Is that
Oh.
the one by Michael? I think it's directed by Michael Landon, right? Junior?
Well, the first one is
The
directed by
first one is,
Michael
I thought
Landon.
he also directed that sequel, but maybe not. I know he was a producer
Um,
and all that stuff.
but yeah, we just had him on the podcast. Yeah, it looks like he directed that one too.
Hmm.
I don't know how
Yeah,
many.
because I
It
know
looks
he
like he
was like,
directed a bunch of them. Looking
he
through
did
them.
because he was a producer and all that stuff. I
Yeah,
also
he's just
love the
director.
books because this is another Jeanette Oak
Yeah, Jeanette Oak.
series, and
So
they match nothing of the books, but I
yeah.
still love them individually,
Yeah,
for
I
what they
just
are.
had Michael on the podcast when recording this week, and so if you haven't listened to that interview, it was really fun to talk to him. But I don't know, I was just so surprised once I got into the podcast and got into the space that people really disliked, especially these later ones. And I can understand
Hmm.
when the I think it's Aaron when the
Yeah, because they kind of,
when
they
he
start off. Yeah,
when he
it's not.
dies and then there becomes a when there becomes a new love interest for Missy, I can understand people being upset by that.
Oh, I
But
remember this vividly, Rachel. I'm crazy because I love this series so much, but I remember this
uh
vividly. That
uh
when it was after Love's Abiding Joy, because they have an adopted son in that movie. And it showed like a preview of the next movie that was coming on. And it looked like it was going to be the love story between the adopted son and the girl that he was liking in that movie, and that they were going
uh
to be on a ranch. So I think when the next movie came and he was dead, people were like, what is going on here? I mean, you did get Dale
yeah.
Metcalf back as her father, so that was a
Yeah,
plus.
people
But
were
also,
really,
Rachel,
really
I wish I
upset.
had it saved, but I know this is a total tangent. I apologize. But the press release for that movie had her having a love triangle between the preacher and the sheriff.
This is
And
the
they
one with
cut
May.
the
This is the one with
yeah.
Mae Whitman.
No.
The wasn't that
No,
the
no,
one
no. The
after
one
Abiding
was
Joy?
yes, but that was the one who the son was supposed to get together with Mae Whitman. But it's the one after that where they completely changed the plot. It was supposed to be after Missy is widowed and goes back home,
Uh-huh.
that she's supposed to have a triangle. It's literally in the press release with the sheriff and the preacher, but they cut all of that out and it's just her and the sheriff falling in love, and it felt like an episode of Little House on the Prairie. I
Yeah.
still love it though, guys. This series is great. Rachel is right. This entire
I
series is wonderful. I
I
even
really
like the
did.
prequels, and they don't match the
I did too.
timeline. They actually don't match the timeline for The Love Comes Softly.
Oh, really? Because
Hmm.
isn't it's the it's supposed to be about um
Yeah, it's supposed to be
Clark
about
and
him and
his
his first wife and how she
first
died.
wife.
Yeah, but
Um
I don't think it lines up.
and like the final two are about Belinda.
Oh
Um
yeah, a daughter that they never mention in the movie. Okay, I'm going again on
um
this tangent, but it is when
but she wants to become a doctor, so she becomes
yes.
a doctor. And like
Oh no, that's Missy's adopted daughter, Belinda.
yeah.
The last movie, the miniseries, the Christmas one, is about a daughter that they never
Oh,
mention.
right.
Yeah.
No, but I'm talking the last two of the Love Comes Softly
Yes, I'm sorry. Yes, yes,
main
it's
main
about
group.
Belinda who
So
becomes
they're
a
about
doctor.
Belinda,
Yeah.
and I was just so surprised when it just seemed like most people hated those, and I thought they were like I liked them. I don't know. I just
I
feel
think at
like
the time she was too it was too far removed from the family and the homestead,
maybe
and like it was just Belinda. They didn't have anybody else.
yeah.
I mean, they did have Missy like in that at least the first one with the letters. You
Yeah, I
saw her
mean, in the
appear, but that
last
was
one,
it.
you've got Patrick Duffy being like an over the top kind of villain.
Ah,
You know,
love it.
he doesn't want he wants everybody to die instead of
Patty
getting
Duke
like
in it. Patty
instead of
Duke.
getting the treatment, he's like,
I
like
know.
what
It's
you
so
want your whole
great.
town to die?
It's
It's
so
ridiculous.
great.
But I just really enjoyed them, and
Yeah.
I was very surprised when it seemed like people
And I'm
really
so
didn't like
sad they didn't continue
the
it because I
sequel.
loved when they did the miniseries.
Yeah.
Because I like that they went back. They had Greg Vaughn play the son,
And
and
I
he
think
played their
that
son together from the second movie. And I was like, yes, go back to like the OG family. But
and I think that these movies still have some of the highest ratings ever for
I
a
think
Hallmark.
so too.
They
But
do.
you know what? I think Hallmark stopped doing westerns, and so they were gone. And they had enough movies. I think it's
Yeah.
12 in total, right?
Yeah, I mean there were a lot, and
Or maybe 10.
but it still, I think, to this day is some of the best ratings that
Oh yeah, that was
they've
like,
ever had for
especially the
Hallmark.
Love Comes Softly. That was huge,
Yeah.
huge. I would just,
And I love that love the
I
first
love
movie. I
that.
think it's so good.
So good.
I really like it.
Oh, God, it's good. Excellent
Anyway,
pick,
so
Rachel.
that's my number 10.
Excellent pick.
What do you have at 9?
I have a Nutcracker Christmas from all the way back from
Oh, good one. Yeah, it's a
2016 with
good
Amy
pick.
Ecker and Catherine
That's
Burrell.
a crier.
It's a crier, but I loved it and it's so sweet. And I don't think it gets played. It might get played on Hallmark drama, but like I've never watched Hallmark drama. Like that's
Yeah.
the third channel that I forget exists.
True.
But she's a ballerina and she literally quits because her sister died and she has a niece that she's helping raise, or that she's
Uh,
fully raising. And then her niece is also a ballerina and she gets to go to this audition in Philadelphia to be in the Nutcracker, which she gave up because she was playing the main female lead in that when her sister died, and she's keeping all the secrets that I used to be, a famous ballerina, but who's teaching the class but her ex, and it's like long story short, she gets to be finally in the Nutcracker, and it's just a
yeah.
beautiful story of like she gets to live her dream out. She gets to her
Yeah.
man again
It's a good one.
and a family, but it's
Yeah.
so sweet. And yeah,
Yeah,
it
I
is
like
a
that one
crier, but
too.
it's so sweet.
I watched that actually not that long ago because my friend Jonathan, he has what he calls every version ever, where
Oh, does the
he'll
Nutcracker?
take
Oh,
a property.
wow.
Takes a property and then he does what he reviews like all the different. So he's done Cinderella and Alice in Wonderland, and anyway, he was doing a
Oh man, that poor
Nutcracker,
man must watch some terrible stuff.
and so we talked about that movie, and then we
Yeah,
talked about the Sugar Plum one that they
yeah.
did. And they were both, I mean, especially in the world of Nutcracker movies,
Oh yeah.
they're pretty good. Because Nutcracker, I told him, I said, "You sure you want to do this series? Because it is bad. It's bad. I mean,
I didn't even realize there was that many Nutcracker movies,
I
but I guess there would be.
genuinely think that the Barbie Nutcracker movie is the best one ever.
Have they made it a horror version of this? I can't believe somebody hasn't.
Probably. I
I
don't
don't know.
know.
It's not in public domain, right? No.
Um,
Hmm.
that's a good question.
I don't
Probably.
know.
That's got to be
I mean,
over
it has
100.
to be, right? I
That's got to
think.
be. It's definitely over 100 years old.
I actually saw the ballet one time, and it
Yeah, I
was
did. I've seen it a couple
it was
times
the second half is really the most exciting part. The first
with
part you
all
gotta,
the different
yeah, you're like,
the
okay,
present
let's move
the
on.
presentation that
Yeah, it's
to
like,
the prince and princess.
yeah. Let's get to
Um,
the Mouse King.
yeah, I'm not that big of a ballet person. I
Me
appreciate it.
either.
I admire
Yeah,
it,
I'm
but
okay with yeah,
I
but
don't I don't love it. Okay. Well, my number 9 is again another little of a cheat. I have the When Calls the Heart movies, particularly
oh
the
yeah.
first one, When Calls the Heart Christmas. And
Hmm.
I feel like
I miss
maybe
those so much.
yeah, I really wish that they would start doing them again
I do
because it was
too.
peak Hallmark, peak When Calls the Heart,
Totally.
certainly.
And I
Uh
loved it because it always came on Christmas Day.
yeah, that was so fun.
Yeah, because they
I
stopped airing
loved
like new
having
Christmas
that.
movies three weeks before Christmas.
Yeah, it
I
was
loved having something to watch on Christmas Day, and
and
especially When It Calls to Heart because it feels like it belongs on Christmas
yeah.
Day.
And I think the best one they ever did was the first When Calls the Heart Christmas with the peddler. with basically Santa coming into
Yes.
town.
Oh, yeah.
That was really good. And it's just like everything you could want in a Hallmark movie, in a Christmas movie, in certainly When Calls the Heart. And I don't know exactly why they stopped making them. And I wish they would go back, make
I
it
think I
more.
read that they said it took too much focus off of the season because they would film the Christmas movie while they were filming the season. I could be misremembering,
Yeah, but
but I
I don't
thought it would
know.
be that. But just could you see an amazing if they would do like a wedding movie?
I would
You
love that
know,
so much.
at
I mean,
Christmas, it would be amazing, but
yeah,
no,
definitely.
we're not that lucky.
Yeah. So that's my number 9. What's your number 8?
Truly, Madly, Sweetly,
Okay.
with
Yeah.
Nikki DeLoach
Yeah.
and Dylan Neal, and I
Like that
wasn't
one.
too sure if this one was underrated or not. Because I remember a lot of people liking it when it came out, but I was like, it's 2008, Sometimes
Yeah.
movies are forgotten within a year. Um, so
Yeah,
I
it's
so I
true.
was like, ugh, I don't know how to debate these movies, but I picked this one because it's bonkers in a way. She has a bakery food truck, which I guess is very plausible. And he's just a man of business, and they inherit, excuse me, this property, and he wants to sell it, and she wants to make it a bakery, and they reluctantly go into business, and of course they fall in love after a time. But I thought they had great chemistry, and it was funny, and it was sweet. And I don't think it gets played that often. Maybe it does, and I just don't realize it. But I thought it was one of the
Yeah.
better films that Dylan Neal had done or has done for Hallmark.
Yeah, that one's solid. I enjoy that one. Okay, my next one, number 8 for me, is Sealed with a List. And this
Oh
is a
yeah.
really unique Hallmark Christmas movie because it's set all year.
Yes.
It's not just because you start out with one Christmas and then it goes a year and then comes back to the next Christmas. And it just has a little bit more time, seeped in. She quits her job. Um, he's the rich son of the boss. Been a bit
Yeah.
since I've seen it, sorry. But the rich family, he gets in and she has to try to like help him. So she thinks he's like a diva, and he kind of is at the beginning, but the more they work together, the more they
She's trying to do her bucket.
he's also
Yeah.
trying to help her to be less wound up and
Oh
less.
yeah, because she gets fired, and it's essentially her bucket list that she just has never done.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and a great kiss at the end, really good
totally.
chemistry. It's charming.
She has hit it out of the park. I don't think I haven't
Yeah,
liked any. I haven't like I've liked all her Hallmark movies. She doesn't have that many, but she's so enjoyable.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
true. It's true. What do you have at 7?
I have Cross Country Christmas with Rachel Lee
Oh, that
Cook
is a good
and
one.
Grayson Holt. I think
Good
this was the
pick.
last Christmas movie of 2020, right? That they aired, or maybe
Yeah,
second to last. It's exactly what it is. It's a road trip movie, and they go through shenanigans trying to get home for Christmas. And like they kind of know each other from school, but they don't really remember each other. And they
yeah,
get stuck on a train, a hayride, whatever. What you'd expect goes wrong in a road trip movie does.
yeah,
But they were so cute together. They had such great chemistry, and this was so much better than the trailer. And you're exhausted by the end, by December, like the first week of December, you're exhausted when you're watching these Christmas movies. And this
yeah.
was just
It's
so
true.
surprising, and it just ended the season on a high note. And I always feel like those movies at the end don't ever get remembered.
Yeah, it's true. And like I said, some of them are some of the best
Yeah.
that they often end with the best ones. Good pick. I really enjoyed that too. We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's Harpeth Road and Lindsay Gibson and her new book, Where It All Began. Still reeling from the shock of her ex-fiance leaving her at the altar, Willow Anderson flees to Martha's Vineyard after almost a decade away, forcing her to confront everything she's left behind. Her father suffered from a horrible fall off a horse at their family farm, and Willow has to return to the scene of a traumatic accident from her youth. Just as she begins to navigate taking care of her father's farm, her first love, Grayson Turner, walks back into her life, and he's got a secret that could change everything. I really enjoyed this book. I think if you like a good love triangle, it has a really good love triangle. It kind of reminded me a little bit of The Summer I Turned Pretty, like a little bit older version of The Summer I Turned Pretty, but a very spirited, passionate, dynamic. I think it'll make a great summertime read, so you should definitely check it out. And you can purchase it wherever you purchase your books or use the affiliate link below. Make sure to grab your copy today. That is Where It All Began by Lindsay Gibson. I know you'll love it. So my number 7 is Where I Have Notes of Autumn.
Oh, yeah.
And I love this movie.
Surprising.
I mean, Rick Garman, I think, really did a great job with the script. You've got the two couples and their interactions and interweavings and everything like that. I definitely like connected enough with, I know a lot of people were like, oh, the Ashley Williams, Mark Strasner wasn't as good. But like, I did kind of like the struggle of like, how long do you keep doing a creative enterprise versus like, okay, I need to move on and
Absolutely.
do something, like, when do you say, okay, I gotta be a grown up and put the dreams of youth aside, right?
Yeah.
And they're telling her, no, you should still be performing your piano, I believe it was.
Yeah.
And then all their little interactions were like cute enough to me. I enjoyed it. And then I loved everything with Luke McFarlane and Peter Porte. They had incredible chemistry. And I thought
Totally.
the writing was very good between the two of them. And just like little scenes, I loved. There's a great scene when he's trying to find out if the other is single.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Like, oh, and oh, I'm divorced, and like, because it's a little bit harder to know, like, is somebody, and then also trying to find out if somebody's gay, if somebody's.
Oh, totally. I just loved that. Was so funny. And
was
both
so
of them
good.
had like major fails, like going to each other's house.
Yeah, well,
But having to take over the responsibilities for Christmas too at each destination was crazy. But
well, and
it was
it's so
wonderful.
he's also writing this book, and it's he's been doing this series, but he's taking a chance on this
Yeah.
new book, and Peter Porte is reading the new book, and he's like, this is amazing, you need to, and it's just cute. And
It's so cute. They
I
were
love
so
when
cute together.
Ashley is reading the notes and stuff, and she's like, oh my gosh, she's totally in love with you, what are you
Oh,
doing?
I know. It was so great and also it's that they are very familiar. Like they switch, but I know who he is. Yeah, he's a great guy, and they
Yeah.
both like because they're their neighbors and stuff, and they know these people. And
And she could tell just from
great.
reading, what he's right. Oh
I
my
know that
gosh, I
was,
don't
and
love
he's like,
you.
really?
Yeah.
I loved it too because they had such great chemistry, and this
Yeah.
was the first time that both of these actors did like essentially like a I'm trying to figure out the proper word. I was going to say gay romance, but well, that they
Yeah,
were in
like
a
a queer
relationship
love
between two men.
story.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. I
Um
blanked on the word. I apologize.
I
But yes, for the both of these actors who are out,
yeah.
and this is the first time they did it for Hallmark, and it's a big step.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, it
because people
was, and
because they're
I
Hall
don't know
stars.
I don't know if that was part of the reason why I feel like it kind of came and went and didn't get the
Well, I know that
but
it has repeated, I think. It's weird because it
did
was
it?
right, yeah, and it was a fall movie, so it was right before the Christmas. It kind of got lost in the
Because
shuffle, I think, right?
they had done The Holiday Sitter, they had done
Hmm.
other
No, I
films
think The
for
Holiday Sitter
Hallmark.
came after, I
I don't
think.
think so. Um,
I don't know. No, I can't remember.
yeah, no, so Hallmark, The Holiday Sitter was the year before.
Really? Oh,
Yes,
that's
that
not.
was
I thought that was a.
2022.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah,
totally got the
2022.
years confused.
So they had done some queer content on
Yes,
Hallmark.
yes, they have.
But in my opinion, this was the best written, the best. This was the best, and
Yeah,
I just really enjoyed it. And so if you haven't seen it, you should
watch it.
definitely
It
watch
is
it.
so
Yeah,
good, and
it was
everyone
really
is so
good.
good in this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, but it actually was forever. She's going to be 60 years old and falling off of things, and I will be here for
Yeah.
it. I will.
It's true. What do you have at 6?
I went all the way back to 2008, and I was like, I have to represent my girl Brenda Barrett from General Hospital. It's Vanessa Marcel and Brennan Elliott in The Nanny Express. And it
Oh.
has Stacy Keach in it as well. And it's an older movie, and I think these older movies, like from the early 2000s, but they get lost in the shuffle because they don't get repeated much. But I think there's so much heart in this movie and a little bit of faith as well. But basically, Brendan Elliott is a widower, and he's got these 2 kids, and they're terrible to their nannies. And Vanessa Marcel's character
Yeah.
comes in because she needs this job, and she's taking care of her sick dad, and she
Yeah.
can understand these kids because she lost her mother when she was young too, and her dad is dying as well. But and then his daughter is terrible. You were like, you can't have my dad. He
Yes.
needs to get hooked up with a ballerina teacher. And I was like, this stinker of a kid. But I just think it's like it's your typical I'm falling in love with the nanny story, but it
Yeah.
has heart to it.
It's one of my favorite Hallmark movies. I guess I
Yeah.
didn't really think of it as underrated because it's been a
See,
favorite
I
of mine for
see.
so long.
I know. I was
But yeah.
confused on that as well. I was like, I don't know, but it's because I haven't seen it in a while
Yeah.
playing
That
anywhere.
makes
I don't even know
sense.
if it's on Hallmark Plus. I think it might be on the Up TV, the Faith and Family
Yeah.
streaming service. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's adorable.
that's that's a that's one of the best. And normally those kind of like disgruntled teens is not for me. I hate that
Oh, I
archetype,
know. I know.
but this is well done. This
Totally.
is you really do
But
feel
that
for her.
stinker, I was like,
And when
okay.
she cries about the diary,
Oh, I
like
know. Oh,
that is some good acting. Some good acting
totally.
from that young actress. She's very
I
good.
read that, so I don't know how true it is, but there was only a 7-year age difference between her and Brendan Elliott, and they were playing father and
Oh, really?
daughter.
That's
As
funny.
I heard, I don't know if that's true, but I believe it, but I also
Yeah.
don't know if it's true. But yeah,
I
there was good
also,
stuff.
yeah, I love the ending of that movie when they're
Mm-hmm.
like, "Will you go on a date with us?" That's so cute.
It was so sweet,
Good
and they
pick.
had chemistry in it too.
Yeah, yeah. Well, my number 6 is uh is one I like definitely more than most people. It's A Lifelong Love. This
Mm.
was from
You are on an
2023.
island, Rachel.
I'm on an island and I'm okay with that.
It's
I'm
fine.
fine with it. I really liked this. I thought it was a really cute story of her trying to help this her grandpa like try to find this lost love and putting all the pieces together and the her second chance romance with this this guy that she dated in college or high school, I can't remember. But particularly I think the dynamic between Andrew Brooks and the grandfather I thought was really
Yeah.
cute and sweet. And I had a great relationship with my grandfather. We were really close and I miss him a lot. And so I am a sucker for like grandpa stories and like old man stories.
Yeah.
I really love those. I love Up and I love even grumpy old man stories I really like. And so that's an easy button to push for me is the like
Yeah.
relationship between a granddaughter and a grandpa. Um
I
and
would not
so
buy her book,
I
though.
think that's why I responded to it and I
I would
liked
not buy
it.
her book of bad poetry, but that she needs pictures to go with. I was like, what is going on?
That's
But no, you're
fair.
right. There was a nice grandpa granddaughter relationship.
Yeah. And so I also really thought I think it was her boss that was like like a, I thought a funny bad man of business, like
Oh
over
no,
the top.
the book. I think it's the dude who is telling her your book sucks. We can't
Yeah.
publish it.
It
Yeah,
was
he was
funny.
great. He's
He was
great.
funny. I enjoyed
I
him.
will say that. Yeah.
And I interviewed the director, Nicholas Humphreys, and I told him, I said, I think your movie is underrated. So uh, but yeah, so that's my number 6. What do you have at 5?
I went all the way back to 2011, and I picked The Edge of the Garden. This one
Oh,
stars
I
Rob
know this.
Estes. I might be wrong on how you pronounce his last name. And well, spell check changed her last name, but Sarah something, because now I don't know how to. And Kelly Monaco Oh, and it has a lot of Hallmark regulars.
I've never seen this.
Basically, this is kind of like a supernatural, like time travel, like twist. You know what? Think of the Lake
Huh.
House with Sandra Bullock and Keanu Reeves. Basically, it really is a virgin, like it is this movie.
Have you
But I
ever
would say this
seen
movie's better.
Have you ever seen the interview with Keanu Reeves trying to explain the lake house
Oh, it's
to the
like I can't
reporter?
even
It is
explain the Lake House. That's impossible to
hilarious.
explain to somebody.
It's so funny. Like,
Yeah, like,
like
I don't know.
explaining
I was just doing what they gave
it.
me. I can't.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like he's a man of business. He's very busy. He's engaged to beautiful Kelly Monaco from General Hospital,
Uh-huh.
formerly from General Hospital. But and so they've been engaged for like 5 years, and he misses the engagement party for work. And she's like, "We done? No, I'm leaving you." And I would too.
Oh.
So he goes somewhere to lick his wounds, and he's like, I'm gonna rent and work on this new company, some kind of tech company or whatever. And he comes across this old abandoned house that nobody's lived in for a long time. And he's like, oh, I can buy it and fix it up and sell it for more money. I know this house. It's a house in Vancouver in Canada that everything has filmed in, so it's very recognizable. I think it's the might be the house in Marrying Mr. Darcy, if I'm remembering the right Hallmark
Oh,
movie.
okay.
But it's like, oh, and the house, I think also in it, House on Arrow, whatever. It's very recognizable. This house is so recognizable. But anyway, the reason it's been abandoned for so long is because it's haunted. And he starts to
Mm.
communicate with this lady who I believe her name was Nora. Yes, Nora. And like they put letters in different places of the house, and they are communicating like 50 years apart. Like she's from the 1960s, and they're communicating. And because she can hear him kind of like a ghost, and he can hear her as a ghost. And but then they find out they're like 60 or 50, 60 years apart in timeline, and she's in an unhappy marriage, and he looks her up and finds that she died in a mysterious way. And he's like, I've got to try to help this woman, or at least I've got to try to help, prevent her death. There is a connection
Hmm.
there. And so there's a little mystery, and I don't want to give away the ending. There's a slight twist to the ending. But I think it's like a real, this one's on Hallmark Plus. And I think it's a really sweet movie and has a supernatural twinge.
Cool.
And I completely forgot there's a time. Well, they're not really time traveling, but there is that sort of time element to it. And I was like, nobody talks about this movie. I don't even know if people like it, but I liked
Uh-huh.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, my next one, my number five is A Big Fat Family Christmas.
Oh
And
yeah.
this one, I do think it captures like a family. Like normally the chaotic family comedy is not my favorite kind of Christmas movie. I
Yeah.
just can find them kind of stressful and just not that amusing to me. But this one I think does that pretty well, that dynamic. And what really wins me over to this movie is when she loses that bag of
I would
money.
have left town, Rachel.
I
You wouldn't have seen me. You would
like
have never seen from me again. I would have
like
left town. I would have been like, what happened to her? I don't know. I would have been gone.
like how
No
can you
way.
not
Oh, I
feel
know.
for her at that moment? Because
Mm-mm.
we've all had moments where we lose something that's like, oh my gosh, where is it? And
I
that like
know.
sense
It's
of panic.
devastating. Yeah.
It's devastating. You just can't. Where did it go? I had it, and oh, I just felt for her so well. And I think this actress does a really good job with her acting in this movie and that moment. And it's not as like great as far as romance, but I didn't really care because I was more interested in like the family dynamics. And I think between like her and her mother and then the way everything kind of plays out with the community rallying around her, and it's just like got so much Hallmark feels to it. And then they end up finding the money, of course. And it's it's just a really like it gets that sense of community so well for Hallmark. And I think this actress is really good. And I don't know, I feel like it's one that kind of came and went and we don't really talk about it, but I liked it a
No,
lot.
it's true. Yeah. And it's also Asian centric. It's an Asian family.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
So it's
originally I
like
think it was called the Big Fat Chinese Family
I think so
Christmas
too.
or something like
Also,
that.
yeah, so it's I think her name is Shannon Can Kent, but most importantly, she's the voice of Pinkie Pie in My Little Pony, the Friendship is
Uh-huh.
Magic era
Uh-huh.
iteration of
Yeah.
My Little Pony. And my niece loved those, so I will forever love her.
Yeah, she's good. We need to get
Yeah,
her.
she's
It's a good
good.
reminder. We need to get her on the podcast.
Yeah, she is
We've
good.
never had
She
her,
was great in
but
that one.
mhm,
And Jack
yeah.
Wagner's in that movie too,
Oh
right?
yeah,
Just
I
pops up
forgot. He plays her
as his
boss,
boss.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That was good. What do you have it for?
I have Love by Chance. This one has Benjamin Ayres in it and Brenda Strong.
Oh
And
yeah,
I
forgot about
think
that.
this is 2016, and when Hallmark was doing their books, when they had the publishing, they had a movie tie-in version of this. Um,
Oh yeah.
but yeah, so basically, lady is a busy pastry chef. She's real busy, got her own restaurant, and her mom's like, "You need to date." And her mom just goes to a bar, picks up a guy, and she's like, "You'd be great for my daughter," and arranges this whole thing. And the daughter really likes him, and he really likes her. They're gelling, but she thinks she came upon him naturally, and the whole secret is no, mom's behind it. She knows what's best for you. You needed a man. And that's
Yeah,
basically the whole conflict. And I love it. It's very sweet. They got good chemistry, and I don't know. There's just something
yeah,
charming
yeah.
about it. And like the mom is trying, and
True.
she's not really too much of a villain. Like she goes, "Hey, you need somebody.
Yeah.
You're not gonna find anybody. Let me help you." You know,
Yeah,
it's
like
right and wrong at the same time.
she's like a busybody matchmaker, but
Busybody
not
mom,
too bad.
yeah.
Not too bad. Yeah,
I
that's
love
a
how
good
she
one.
picks him up though, and he's like, "Well, you know, because you know he'd be great." You know, it's that whole interaction when she picks him up at the bar,
Yeah.
and you're like, "Where is this going?" And she's out bar hopping to find men for her daughter. It is just that was funny.
We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies merch store.
Are you looking for that perfect gift for the postable, Hardy, or Hallmarky in your life?
What about getting that t-shirt or hoodie that will help you stand out at your next holiday party?
Now is the time to check out the Hallmarkies merch store.
Full of festive designs by artists like Jessica Miller, Carrie from Hallmark Comics, and more.
You can even have more than just shirts, but totes, cell phone cases, notebooks, mugs, and more.
And it isn't just Hallmark. We have designs for Anna Green Gables, Man from Snowy River, The Nanny, and more.
Every purchase at the merch store goes to help support the podcast and allows us to make the great content you know and love.
There are frequent sales, so go to tpublic.com/stores/Hallmarkies or see the link in the description.
That's tpublic.com/stores/Hallmarkies.
Well, my number 4 also has Shannon Chanken in it, and it's called Field Day.
Oh,
This
yes,
is
yeah.
from 2023. This was written by Julie Sherman Wolfe. And I think that it's one that just in the strike and just kind of everything going on kind of got forgotten. They couldn't promote it the way that
Yeah.
they would have otherwise. It's I think really good. And it's more about these women than it is a romance. And maybe that's also why sometimes those less romantic ones kind of get forgotten a little bit, because we
Yeah.
are at our core, we're romance fans here at Hallmark, but
Yeah.
there's some really good ones that are less so about the romance. And that would be the case here. It's I like the fact that none of these women were demonized for their choices in life. You know, even the Shannon's character, who's a little bit more fluffy, she's like an influencer and she's always posting
Oh,
and stuff.
yeah.
Like she's still like a person, you know, she's not, she could have easily just been a twit, you know, that's
Oh,
not,
totally. Yeah.
but because of Julie's such a good writer, like she's a full
They're all
person,
fledged, fully
Yeah.
fledged characters. Yeah.
And like there's some stuff that is kind of crazy that made it into a Hallmark movie, like the whole they all get like kind of sloshed in this bar crawl.
It was
It was
great.
really funny. And I ended this movie will always be kind of special too, because I actually watched it at Christmas Con. It was our movie, the one that was in Kansas City Christmas Con.
Yes,
They
I remember
in the
premiered there. Yeah.
summer, and we got to screen it
Nice.
early, quite a bit early, and to watch this movie with a crowd was really fun.
And if for anybody who volunteers at school with their kids, whether they're your kids or your nieces or nephews or
Yeah,
whatever, you have come across those moms.
absolutely.
And yeah, it's worse than high school sometimes between
Yeah.
there's nothing worse too when you're like, I'm a
But a lot of times the
the
working
stay-at-home
this,
moms versus the working moms too is a
yeah,
whole nother thing. Rachel, it's a scary world out there if you're involved in that kid stuff.
but
And
like
I
the
think this
mom,
movie made fun of that and made it fun to
yeah,
see.
the
But yeah,
mom
very
that's
much.
a lawyer isn't a nice queen. Like she's a good person
Yeah.
and is still just trying to, do her
Yeah,
best.
like
And so I appreciate that a
but there is
lot.
that like one-upmanship. It's totally like that.
Yeah, yeah. So I think it's one that got missed. A lot of times I feel
Yeah.
like we've mentioned quite a few fall movies, and I
It's
think
true, they get lost. It's
that
right
the
before
fall
Christmas.
movies,
Yeah.
get lost a lot of times because we're already kind of in Christmas mode. I know at least for me, I'm like already doing the previews and I'm already kind of
Hallmark should just
there.
skip
So
fall completely and start in August. I mean, they're going earlier and earlier in October. They should
I
just start
know,
from
I know,
October 1st.
I
Just go
know.
with it, Hallmark. They want to, Rachel.
Yeah,
And this year
yeah.
they might.
I
Because
wouldn't
they're
be
I
surprised.
wouldn't be surprised. They're
I
like skip
really
fall, it
wouldn't.
doesn't
If they're
matter.
just like
Well, they got September.
there's no more Christmas in July. Christmas season just starts in July.
Oh my gosh, Rachel. I would love it and also jump out the window at the same time.
It'd be great for the podcast. So
Oh
hey.
yeah, your numbers would be up like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, by the end of it, Rachel's shaking.
Yeah.
Shaking at night
Yeah,
before you
it's
go to
true.
bed. Like, I
I'm having
can't, the
like
stress.
convulsions.
Because then everybody else is gonna copy them.
I get like triggered by anything that's Christmas. So that's red.
You're driving down the street, Christmas song comes on, and you swerve your car. You're like, I can't. Could you imagine?
Uh,
Like, you have to go to therapy, and it's like, what's wrong, Rachel? Well, I chose this career, and Christmas is a big part of it.
well, what's your number 3?
This is where I have Rippin' Time,
Yeah.
which I didn't know if this was like underrated, but I was like, people don't really talk about it, and that might be because it gave on Hallmark Mystery. And I think a
Yeah.
lot of those like
That was
non-mystery
in
movies get lost.
I think when Wanya Lucas took over, she really wanted to make this was
Oh
my
yeah,
impression at least that she
yeah,
really wanted to make Hallmark more like serious. And
yeah. But there
so
is a
for the
Hallmark
next like
drama
two
channel for
for
that.
next like
Yeah.
2-3 years,
Oh, I
we got
know.
a lot of these dramas, particularly
Yeah.
on movies and mysteries.
Made
And
no sense.
yeah, and they were all like pretty decent, I think, but the problem that they had is that they just all felt rushed. And
Right.
that was a problem because like both the mysteries and the rom-coms can rely on tropes to help with
Mm-hmm.
the storytelling.
Yeah.
And so that you can get a story easier in 80 minutes than you can with a true drama. Because there aren't like these set tropes in dramas as much.
Yeah.
And whereas like, for instance, in a rom-com, you can have the bad man of business. You don't need to elaborate on his character. That's just the trope, right?
Yeah.
It's just harder to do stuff like that with the drama. And
Especially after
and
they rebranded, because it used to be Hallmark movies and mysteries, so they could get away with a drama here and there.
yeah,
But then they rebranded it to just a mystery channel, and you're playing all these dramas. So I wouldn't say this one that much a drama because of time travel.
yeah.
Basically it's Rip Van Winkle's son falls asleep and wakes up in the future. Take a drink every time this lady's talking about organic farming, but it's just so
It's a
adorable.
bonkers one, but it's a
It's a
pretty
bonk,
fun
and
one.
I
Fun
just
one.
loved his reaction to the automatic opening doors at the store, and it's like it's hell. Like, I'm in hell, like you just had the appropriate, because a lot of times you have these people coming from like 100 years in the past and they just shrug their shoulders. Like, I do really like the Christmas one that has Ryan Pavey, but he doesn't blink an eye at anybody on the computer. And I'm like, bro, you came from 1912 or something. Like, this computer
Yeah.
like, you should be shook to the core. And I think he had the proper response to like things he wasn't appreciated for. And that fake beard is like something to remember in this movie, but it's funny.
Okay, so my number 3 is where I have the 5-year Christmas party. This is
Oh
from
yeah,
last year. This was,
so good.
I think, the first weekend of
Yep.
the
Or
season.
second. Might
It
have
was
been.
early, and I feel
Yeah.
like it just kind of got forgotten, even though I loved it.
Yeah.
And
It's
I
so
just,
good.
I think what I felt like it captured so well that Zach Hug in his script is like the experience of being an artist.
Mm-hmm.
And that one of the challenges is that you are forced to be constantly looking for the next gig. That's the life you signed up for. But nevertheless, like just loved the whole framework of it, and that he gets this big role. He thinks this is going to be so exciting, and then the next year, because it bombs, next year he's back serving at the Christmas party, and should she volunteer for this company? Is that because you have the struggle of deciding like what is, because everybody wants you to do stuff for free. What is worth doing? What's not worth doing? And
she wants to
all
be a
the
director.
relationships and all of it. It just felt so authentic to me. And I heard some people thought that was boring, but I didn't think it was boring.
I love this gimmick. I love
really,
how, you just see a day. Yeah. But you saw a little more than that. I think that's what added to it. You saw a little bit in between.
Yeah.
That one, that Christmas party, like for the 5 years. And I also loved it how he had his high points while she was having her low points and reversed. So they each had their like moment and their disappointments. But it was really funny.
I just really liked it. I thought it was very romantic, and it was hilarious how many ways they were working around to hide the fact he's short. Jordan Fisher was short.
I didn't even notice.
The way
I don't even know why they bothered doing that, but they still do it. But it's so funny.
But
especially when they're on behind the bar, because he's standing on a box.
I also loved this. One of the only Hallmark movies I've ever seen that this is one of the only Hallmark movies I've ever seen that actually acknowledges the role of Hallmark movies as a comfort.
Oh yeah, because they're huge fans.
Yeah, she watches them and she's like, oh, and she watches them by herself, which you never see. She watches them by herself to make her feel good. I'm like, that is so real, and that's true, and that's how
it's totally true, because that's how I watched them by myself.
Yeah,
but she name checks a couple of Hall stars in there, and I kept waiting for like a cameo to see if anybody popped up.
Yeah, particularly I think Ashley Williams is a big one that checks that. I wouldn't have been surprised. I think that Ashley was doing other cameos going on.
Yeah, they also mentioned Kimberly, her sister, Kimberly Williams.
You're right. You're right.
Presley? It's not Presley, right? What's her
Paisley.
Oh man, I should know it because her husband's Brad Paisley. But anyway.
Yeah. So it was one of my favorites from last year.
Oh, this one was so, and the ratings were so low. I mean, lowish for Christmas. And I was like, no.
And I just saw a lot of people thought it was boring. And I guess I can understand that, because it doesn't have, it is kind of slice of life in a way. It's just following these people. There's not like a huge plot, but I thought it was authentic and well done, and I really
and something new too, because like so many of these Christmas movies are the same thing over and over again, and I loved it because it was a fresh idea, and I do love that gimmick, the one day a year that you see people in.
Yeah, so. Agree. All right, what's your number 2?
I thought really hard because I was like, is this number 1 or number 2? But I put Just One Kiss. Not that like from 2022, and it's just the moms are playing a matchmaker to these kids, and and she ends up, oh my God, she's got a terrible boyfriend, and it's in New York, right there in New York, I believe. They end up living in the same apartment complex, and he's taking care of his niece. I'm sorry, that's his daughter or his niece? Oh, I can't remember. I apologize. It's been a bit since I've seen
him. His niece.
His niece, right? Okay, so I got that right. She's helping them out there, and their moms meet and went, oh, maybe they could hook up. And there's a whole twist to that movie that we don't really see coming. And I think they really did a good job with that twist in the movie.
Yeah,
but I just think it's delightful, and it's Broadway stars. And
and there's actual singing.
There's singing, and there's a kiss early on, and I mean, it's so much fun. Yeah. Oh yeah,
I love that
stuff on the rooftop.
The only thing I don't like in that movie is the ex-husband's a little Lifetime thriller.
Oh man,
it's a little much.
Rachel, I was like, if this was on Lifetime, it would be a Woman in Peril movie.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's pretty close even on Hallmark.
I think it was Grayson. Oh my God,
he's very creepy.
He is so creepy.
But it's all right. Everything else is so good that I can.
Yeah, I mean, this is one don't really
Really
know if they
good.
talk about it. And
Yeah.
I don't remember how well it did, but I feel like even in
Yeah.
was this a fall movie too, or
No, it's spring. I think it was spring.
spring? I just feel
Spring,
like
yeah.
within that movie month, the block of the movie,
Yeah.
that nobody talked about it either. And I
I
was like, take a
also,
chance, fans, on these out of the box
yeah,
movies.
I agree. I also think that that movie just has an old-fashioned feel to it. The fact that it was all
Yeah.
shot on a lot and everything just feels really like,
Oh, totally. It does have like a
yeah,
classic movie feel.
we
Totally.
did
Even
that.
with that twist too, feels old
Yeah,
school.
we had Nina on who wrote it. We had her on for our patron watch along and it was really interesting to hear about everything going on behind the scenes and that's something we do for the patrons once a month. We do a watch along or Q&A or something like that, really fun for for these movies. And that's one we did was the 5 year, I mean that's one we did was One Last Kiss. That was for we had Nina on. My number two is one that when I first watched it, I was like, oh, that's fine. And then I don't know, it just really grew on me. I really grew to love it. It's Christmas with the Darlings. And I really love Katrina Law and Carlo Marx in this. He's kind of this is sort of Sabrina-ish, kind of. He's like the brother that it's almost like if the Greg Kinnear character actually got the girl, kind of thing. But anyway, he's like the brother that's kind of a little bit looked down, sort of irresponsible. He's not leading the company. Steve Basic is his brother, who's like the more responsible one. But he's very sweet and he has a good relationship with his nieces and nephew, and they've had a tragedy in their life, and so they're coming to stay with them. And she gets hired as this nanny, and their interactions are really charming and cute. And I love the ending when he literally goes out into the road and stops him. Don't go, don't go. Oh, I love
And it's a
that.
good ending. I'm not as big of a fan of this movie as you are, but I do like that ending.
Yeah, and then
More Katrina Law. She
don't
needs
go
to
to
come back.
China. Don't go to
Yeah.
China. And this is Tracy Andreen
Yeah.
script. And
Katrina Law's only done like 3 Hallmark movies, right? And they're all Christmas.
yeah, and I think they're all written by Tracy Andreen, who is
I
her
believe so.
sister-in-law.
Snow Bride Forever, though.
Yeah, it's her sister-in-law.
Yeah, come back, Katrina Law. Like,
So
if you got some time. I know you busy girl,
yeah.
but
And
come
we have
back.
an interview with both Katrina. I think before this movie came out, we have an interview with Tracy and Katrina both, and so that's super fun. And I don't know, this movie is just really cozy. It's really sweet. There's lots of like classic Hallmark scenes and baking cookies and doing gingerbread
Totally.
houses, and I think especially for 2020 with the pandemic, it was just like really cozy movie. And
One of the better looking
I
movies
love the
too.
ending so much.
Yeah, one of
Don't
the
go to
better looking during
China.
that. Yeah, because
Um,
some of those COVID movies are a little hard. Like you can feel how empty it is, and I think this one does a good job in not feeling empty.
uh-huh.
During that COVID. Well,
And I just feel
yeah.
like these people feel like real humans to me. Like if I could totally picture this Karl Marx character actually like existing in a family, and
Oh, sure.
he's just gotten his he's just going through school, but like he can't ever measure up to the older brother and feels like he's always having to sort of apologize. And he just doesn't have any confidence, which is so charming. And so this was one that really grew on me the more I watched it, and I just really think it's cute. So people should check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's your number one?
Well, my number one was going to be your number one, Rachel, but I
Yes,
wanted
we're
to
the
be
same.
different. But so I decided to pick Love at First Dance, which
Okay.
I
Yeah.
really enjoyed this movie, and
Yep.
I'm going to shock some fans, but like I could, take it or leave, now matter. But this is my favorite of his Hallmark movies.
Uh-huh.
Because I just think
Yeah.
he's so vulnerable and so cute in this. And
Yeah.
he's getting mad, and right from the beginning, we know his fiance is wrong for him. And this over the top wedding, and she can't even be bothered to come to the dance lessons. And so him and his, the dancing, and of course they're using all these weird. I mean, actually, I don't know if that's. I know, I guarantee I've never seen nobody dancing in the street to learn how to do that. So no, I'm going to say no. It isn't.
There's a lot of swoony scenes, like
There's a
when
lot of
they're in the
swooning with the
fountain,
dancing, and
dancing
you're
in the
like,
fountain.
yeah, when's he gonna dump this lady? I
Yeah.
mean, this is you're actively rooting for him to dump his fiance,
Yeah.
and that's
It,
kind of touchy when you're doing
yeah,
type of
I
movies
think they
like
did that
that.
emotional cheating just about as well as you could
Yeah, yeah,
do in this movie. This is another Nina script, and we had her on for a watch along for this movie. And I'd agree. I think this one's underrated because the ending, it's really just them starting the
yes,
relationship.
yes.
Like he's fully broken up with the
Yeah, they don't get
ex.
to, yeah. So like don't get together until it's all clean in the break.
Not at all.
Spoilers.
Like they don't even
No.
have like a real like like I said, there's very little actual cheating going on here.
Hmm.
They keep things pretty professional, and then he goes over to England, and it's just the start of their relationship there, which is very swoony.
Yeah, it's very sweet.
I like the fact that she's presented two choices. She can either go do this choreography over in England, which is like a bigger risk, but she could also stay and run this dance school or whatever, which would be also good. Because so much in life, that's the way life is you're not given uh it's not, do I go with the love of my life or or not, like this obvious choice. So much of life is about debating between two goods, right? Like which one do I pick? Do I pick the more brave choice to take a risk, or do I go with something a little more safe but still good? I don't know. So I liked that dynamic. I thought that was good. And yeah, I agree. That one is a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, my number one, really our co-number one, we both had it.
Yeah.
It's from last year, and it's a Costa Rican wedding. And I feel like you and me were sort of the champions of this movie. It seemed like
Yes.
a lot of people didn't like it, which
And it got good ratings too.
no, did it? Okay, that's
Yeah.
good. I really thought it was very funny, and you know me with wedding movies.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You
But
cannot.
but it really wasn't about the wedding. It was about them getting lost and like having this adventure together. And I thought it was genuinely funny throughout.
Oh, it was
And
so
they had
funny.
good chemistry. It's one of their best, Rhiannon Fish and
Oh yes.
Russell.
So good. And
Yeah.
look, when she dropped that phone in the ocean and stuff, and she was like, "Oh, oops," because she's like a klutz.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, the way that family treated her like trash, just trash, because she was cut. She is
Yeah.
trying her best, and she owns up to herself being klutzy. But like,
Yeah.
who would have thought that chasing after all those monkeys, that this would have been a good plot? I was shook. And it was my second favorite Hallmark movie from last year, because my first was
Uh,
American, what was it? An American in Austin or something like that.
yeah, American Austin, that was really good.
Yeah, so that was my favorite. And the Costa Rica wedding came in second or
Yeah.
third.
I think it was really high up for
It
me.
was really high, along with
Yeah,
Sugar Plum. I mean, I was like, this is like the best thing ever. What do you want from a
It
rom-com
was charming.
adventure?
It was funny. They had like I thought that this was better than the anywhere but here or whatever. The Glen Powell, Sydney. I
Oh,
liked this
yes.
better than that.
Yes, it was
I
completely
really
better.
did.
And
Yeah. Similar story. They're
first
both
of all,
like both of those movies have a similar story. They're both about these people going
yeah.
to help for a wedding in like they both have like similar type of humor, both the shenanigans. I mean, Anywhere But You is a lot more raunchy. It's R-rated, but they're pretty similar actually stories. But I would prefer this.
I prefer this. The way she steps all over his head trying to climb that
Yeah.
tree. I would have told her to kick rocks. I was like, the monkeys stole your purse. You ain't getting that ring back. The monkeys have it. No, these
But
people
I
go
love
after
that.
monkeys.
I love that scene at the end with
So crazy.
on the patio when they're outside and
Yeah.
like they have that's a really cute scene. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. So I'm glad that you enjoyed it too.
I loved it. I
Champion
loved it. It's so good. People like, just go watch it right now and like, shut this off. We'll wait a few more minutes till it's ending and then go watch it. on Hallmark Plus because it is so good. It has to be my favorite of his movies, of Christopher Russell's movies for Hallmark, I think.
Yeah.
He's just, I couldn't believe how perfect he was for this role, how exasperated she was. And this idiot's going along with her. I would have been like, just buy her a new engagement ring. Like, I am profoundly sorry.
Yeah. So check out Costa Rican Wedding. It's really fun.
It's amazing.
And so my list, I have a Costa Rican Wedding, I have Christmas with the Darlings, the 5-year Christmas Party, Field Day, A Big Fat Family Christmas, Lifelong Love, Notes of Autumn, Sealed with a List, The When Calls the Heart Christmas Movies, Love Comes Softly sequels, Date with Love, and A Very Merry Bridesmaid.
And I've got Love at First Dance, Just One Kiss, Rip in Time, Love by Chance, Edge of the Garden, The Nanny Express, Cross Country Christmas, Truly Madly Sweetly, A Nutcracker Christmas, The Sweeter Side of Life, Love in Store, and Royally Ever After.
Great. So I asked the girls in our group chat what their favorites underrated. Caroline, she says Stop the Wedding, Harvest Moon. I love both of those. Stop the Wedding, that's another Nina movie.
Yeah.
And she says Under the Autumn Moon. She has that one. And then she says Come Fly With Me. That would be another one of those ones that was on Movies and Mysteries, the dramas, that I enjoyed that one too. I liked that. With that's another one, Now Mater.
Oh my gosh, I was thinking that was the Parrot movie with Natalie Hall.
Oh yeah, I liked that one pretty good.
Wait a minute, so what is the name of that? Wait, I completely got those movies confused.
Yeah, no.
Oh, she's the pilot in Come Fly With Me.
The Come Fly With Me, that's sort of like the wannabe Top Gun Maverick.
Oh, that's right. Okay, I totally confused both movies.
I forget what the
It has flying. Oh, whatever.
Yeah, what's that one called?
Oh, do. Want me to look it up?
Fly Away With Me? Yeah, Fly Away With Me.
That's why I got it.
I like that movie too.
I was like, I haven't heard that one.
That was
a Hallmark movie. So I guess that proves the point.
Mary Richards says my favorite wedding or Sailing into Love.
Brave choice. Sailing into Love.
Yeah, Caroline says The Memory Book, which I never heard of.
Oh, that's what the Luke McFarlane one.
Yeah, McFarlane.
That's a
Megan Ori.
Yeah, that's I think that's a Debbie. What is that?
Debbie Maycomber?
Yes, that's one of her books, I think.
Oh, I never heard of
that. They find them. Look at me. I was like, they find a memory book. I was like, dirt. Basically, they're tracking down this people in these old pictures, finding love or whatever. It's very sweet. I think it's one of Luke McFarlane's earlier, super early Hallmark movies.
Yeah, that one. It is a good one. All right. Well, let us know what your favorites are, what you think are underrated in the comment section. What do you think of our picks? And also make sure you check out the 2020 episode that we did for more picks. Let us know if you'd want more. Make sure you take part in our latest patron poll. You can even be a free member patron and vote in the poll. And so make sure to check that out. And then check out the Patreon for our bonus episode where we give 2 more of our picks. And where can people find you, Terry?
I'm at Twitter at Flurry Heaven.
And you can find me at Rachel's Reviews, all over social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes. Check that out. Also, make sure you're following the podcast, Hallmarkies Pod, Hallmarkies Podcast, all over social media. And if you are listening on iTunes, please leave your ratings and reviews. That's free to you, and it really, really helps the algorithm a lot. If you go on there, leave a 5-star review and ratings. We really appreciate it. And then if you are listening on iTunes, please like this video. Please subscribe to the channel. We're really trying to get to that 10K subscribers, and most of our viewers on YouTube are not subscribers. So if you're in that camp, please subscribe. We really, really, really appreciate it. And we have our Patreon group, which you get to be part of all these cool things that we've talked about. We really try to make it worth your while. Please take a look at that. And we have our merch store where we have tons of fun Hallmark-inspired designs. So please check that out. And thanks so much, everybody. We'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.